Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to week number 4 of the WBE. My name is CBAD, and I'm coach of the Detroit Steelings. We're taking on my friend Numb Nexus and the Pittsburgh Pichus for what is going to be hopefully an incredible showdown. If you guys have not been up to date with our battles this far, definitely go check it out. The playlist will be in the description, of course. We are currently 2-1, and unfortunately, my friend Nexus is 0-3 right now. Statistically, we are doing better, but statistically, I've never won against Nexus. So we're going to do our best to come out with a W today. Today's video will be a little bit different than my prior WBE videos because we have made some free agent transactions prior to this video. So I will talk about those free agent moves. I will talk about the team builder. And then I, of course, will talk about, we'll have the battle. So if you guys are only interested in the battle, you'll see some text floating somewhere on screen in post-production. If you guys want to go hop right on ahead to that, I always, of course, recommend you guys check out the team builder. Check out the, listen to my free agent transactions because you guys might be surprised if any of them show up this week and be like, what the hell are those? And then, of course, the team builder, you guys know what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it, my thought process going into the battle. But, of course, you know, that is there if you want to skip on ahead. We are going to go full face cam really quickly so you guys can check out the Detroit Steelings merchandise. I'm clipped because I have a green screen up right now and no one should know that, but pick up a Detroit Steelings shirt for a limited time. And by limited time, I mean as long as I'm playing a draft league. Hey, pick up a shirt. Do it. It helps keep the lights on around here. And then, of course, check out any other links in the description down below. Twitch, gaming, YouTube channel, Patreon, all that fun stuff. If you guys want to check out some of my other content. But yeah, that being said, we did make some free agent transactions this week. The 2 Pokemon we dropped, actually, we had not brought in to date. And we had not bringeth. We had not bringeth to date. So it wasn't really that hard of like a move on my end. And really, it did not do much for us other than help us out synergistically is the word that I will use here. My opponents, historically, the past 3 weeks, have all had sets that incorporated the use of spamming Mono Psychic against my team because I do not have a Psychic immunity. So all they had to do was wear down my Psychic resists and go from there. So we did need to pick up a Psychic immunity. And then as far as that goes, we wanted to make sure we weren't doubling up on any typings, maybe even potentially increasing how our team looks offensively and defensively as well. So the first Pokemon that we actually ended up dropping, we actually ended up dropping off Luxray. Luxray did not make it to a matchup. I was really sold on it at first. I really was. 120 attack with Guts, man, just really sounded like a good time. Unfortunately, he did not end up making the cut because the Pokemon that we picked up, we dropped Luxray, and we actually ended up picking up Morpeko. So we have Mormepo, the Morpeko. She's a great Pokemon. She has the electric and dark type both. So not only did we drop an electric type, we picked up an electric type, and then we also picked up a psychic immunity as well. The cool thing about Morpeko is that it does have the hunger switch ability. So it changes forms, which the only thing that really affects is its signature move, Aura Wheel. So depending on the, if it's the normal type, if it's the normal form, Aura Wheel is 110 base power and hits as an electric move. If it's Hangry mode, it is a dark type move that hits 110 base power. That's insane. That's before stab, mind you. So Aura Wheel just hits really hard and it gives us +1 speed. I think that's really overlooked, quite frankly. Another thing to note, it does have, it's got some crazy coverage. It can set up with agility. It has access to like Bullet Seed, Crunch, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, Lash Out. It can set up a Nasty Plot. It gets Outrage, Psychic Fang, Stomping Tantrum, Super Fang, Taunt. It's got an incredible move pool, frankly. And then another thing that it does get access to is Rapid Spin. So we did end up having some hazard removal. We added some additional hazard removal with the with adding another spinner to the team, which is always great. I think it's going to do well. I'm really looking forward to bringing it in weeks coming. And I think that it helps out quite nicely for that psychic immunity that we needed. And then the other Pokemon that we grabbed, I really wasn't the world's biggest fan of. I wasn't really, so that wasn't an even trade. We dropped a tier 5 for a tier 4. We actually ended up dropping Miltank for Morpeko. And then in order to, because we didn't want to have double electric types, wanted to pick another good tier 5 Pokemon that was available down there. And actually Cantonian Rapidash was available in tier 5. So we dropped Miltank for Morpeko, and then we dropped Luxray for Rapidash. So Rapidash is a great Pokemon. Rapidash provides us with another Pokemon exceeding base 100 speed. So now we have not only the Terrakion, we have the Gengar, we have the Whimsicott, but now we also have the Rapidash as well. Rapidash's abilities, it has Flash Fire, which gives us a fire immunity and also provides us an additional oomph. It does an extra 1.5 damage the fire type attacks do if we're hit by one. And then it also has Flame Body. It's a 30% chance that a contact move will burn a Pokemon, which is always great to have. It's got some really interesting setup opportunities with moves like Agility. It has access to Curse. It has recovery and morning sun. It can set up with swords dance. It can act as a will-o-wisper. It's got a bunch of different moves that really do help us out. It's got a base 100 attack as well. So while we're losing that 120 in guts, we're gaining a little bit of speed, some additional support for the team as well. And then fire types, I feel like, are always good to have defensively. And they can also provide some offensive momentum as well, depending on the sets that you want to run. So I won't go too far into those because we're going to talk about both those Pokemon actually in the team builder here. But with all that being said, thank you guys for sticking around for the free agent transactions. I'm excited to see what Nova the Rapidash and Mormeepo the Morpeko bring to the team. But you guys are going to start to see both mine and Nexus's teams appear on screen right about now. My opponent has a team consisting of Rillaboom, Keldeo, Weavile, Druddigon, Gardevoir, Heliolisk, Type Null, Salazzle, Shelmet, Drifblim, and Steelix. Some things to note about my opponent's team. He does have 2 rockers in the form of Druddigon and Steelix, and a defogger in the form of Drifblim. He has a Wish and a Heal Bell user in the form of Gardevoir. So, at first glance, and he really only has 1 Unburdenmon that can take advantage of the grassy terrain with Rillaboom. He originally had Hitmonlee and Colossal over Type Null and Shelmet, but he recently dropped those probably about a day before our matchup. So we had to make a few tweaks. Nothing too crazy. I think we've got a solid team to be able to take care of both of those. Removing the hazard removal. So the only defogger is Drifblim now is really interesting. So that does kind of change my my want as far as what I want to do leading off in this matchup. He's got 4 Pokemon above base 100 speed, so that's something to keep an eye out for. And then he's got a lot of physical attackers and a few really solid special attackers as well. So really well-balanced team. I'm looking forward to seeing how we fare in this matchup. First Pokemon we're bringing on the team. This was originally a little bit different set, so we had to tweak it, but I still think it works out. We're bringing Nova the Rapidash. She is rocking her choice scarf with the Flame Body ability. We have Baton Pass, Flare Blitz, Play Rough, and Drill Run, 52 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 204 in speed with an adamant nature. Now, originally we had like a Flame Charge AV set to kind of help out and set up late game, but with the recent switches, with Colossal not showing up, we need a little bit of speed control. Just kind of overall and help out of the team. We had to switch some roles around a little bit to help out. So Scarf Rapidash is really nice. The 204 EVs in speed with an adamant nature actually allow us to outpace Scarf Rillaboom. If he has grassy terrain and goes for the grassy glide, we do have the Flame Body ability, so it will be a 30% chance to burn on contact. Similar with Pokemon like Weavile, Druddigon, Type Null, Shelmet, Steelix, any of those Pokemon choosing to go for a contact move do have that threat to be 30% burned. We have Baton Pass. Dry passing is allowed in this league, so it does give us a little bit of momentum. His real switch-ins to this thing include, like if I'm just going to click Flare Blitz, his real switch-ins include Keldeo and Druddigon, which we have the Play Rough for, and then even then Salazzle could be a switch-in, but we have Drill Run for that. So Flare Blitz is really free and open, and then we do have the coverage moves to hit those Pokemon that otherwise resist Flare Blitz. The Baton Pass helps us out. In case we want to scout for some switches, kind of get an idea, okay, you're switching into Druddigon on Rapidash. Okay, you're switching into Steelix on Rapidash, something like that. It kind of gives us an idea, so that way we can play around with our Choice Scarf and see what we best want to do there. The 252 in attack with an adamant nature just gives us the most bang for our buck with that 100 base attack. Again, Flare Blitz is really spammable. I'm not too worried about the recoil simply because my opponent does have grassy terrain. If they do choose to bring it, we'll be able to get some recovery based off of there. We can also click Play Rough and Drill Run on switches until we are confident that a Flare Blitz will take something out and go from there. As far as the 6 that I think my opponent is going to be bringing, it was really interesting the mons that they chose to drop prior to our matchup. I don't think Shelmet is going to show up. That's the pre-evolution of Escavalier, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's going to show up. It's a bug type. It has shell armor, so it can't be crit. And then it can get access to Eviolite to boost the 85 defense and the 65 special defense. But I have Terrakion, so I don't see Shelmet showing up. If either of those pickups show up, I think Type Null could definitely show up, like an Iron Defense Eviolite set. But we do have Pokemon to kind of help deal with that further down the line. But that's my 2 cents. I think Rillaboom will show up. I think Heliolisk is definitely going to show up. I think like a Life Orb Heliolisk was fantastic this week. I think Type Null will show up. I think Druddigon will show up. Gardevoir can definitely show up as well because it does provide Psychic is really spammable, and then it does also get Moonblast for our Dark type. And then the last one's kind of a toss-up. I think either Salazzle or Keldeo could show up. I'm leaning towards Keldeo, but Salazzle could definitely make an appearance as well. Nothing too much to say about Rapidash. I really think it's going to do well this week. The next Pokemon that we're bringing on the team is Hivemind the Orbeetle. He is rocking a very similar set to our Week 1 matchup. We have the Colberberry with the Frisk ability. Iron Defense recovers Psychic and Body Press. This week we have 172 EVs in HP, 188 EVs in defense, 100 EVs in special attack, 44 in special defense, and 4 in speed with a calm nature. Now, what this does is this allows us to actually, let me take a look here. We do iron defense and body press things. He really does not have a super good way to break us. We do outspeed a max speed Dredagon, which is really nice if he decides to bring that. Salazzle can be a little bit of a problem. Salazzle, we do live one of those, and then the 100 EVs in special attack do allow us to Oko with Psychic following. So we'll be able to take a flamethrower from that thing and go from there. Iron defense and body press just do really, really good things. We can set up on Rillaboom. The Colbur Berry allows us to take those knockoffs and go for the iron defense. Keldeo, we can Psychic through that thing. Weavile, we can take a knockoff from a Colbur Berry and go for the body press against that. Dredagon, again, iron defense and body press do help out there. Gardevoir, Specs Gardevoir needs to show up with Shadow Ball if it wants a chance to deal with us, or Mystical Fire. Heliolisk, we can take a hit from Heliolisk or so. Type Null, we can, if it's an iron defense set, we can counteract that and go for our own iron defenses there. And go for body press, which is super effective damage. Salazzle, again, Flamethrower does not knock us out. Psychic does knock it out. Shelmet, I'm really interested. I'm really curious to see if that shows up. Drifblim's a little interesting. We don't do too much to Drifblim if it starts to set up. And then Steelix is another Pokemon that we can set up on and go for an iron defense in front of and just kind of take advantage of it from there. The next Pokemon that we're bringing on the team is pretty much our dedicated physical response to most of his threats. We're bringing Platinum the Skarmory. She is rocking her Rocky Helmet with the sturdy ability. We have Taunt, Spikes, Roost, and Body Press. 92 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 164 in speed with an Impish nature. Now, we're a really fast Skarmory set, and the only reason I say that is because Dredagon hits 110. We are outspeeding max speed Dredagon, so I anticipate like a dual lead between Skarmory and Dredagon to get up some form of hazards because I do not have otherwise removal on my team. So he may try to get rocks up to go to hinder the Rapidash, to hinder the Orbeetle. If we are a fast taunt variant, we can taunt that thing and set up our own layer of spikes, especially because the only form of removal he has on his team is the Drifblim. We should be able to at least get a spike or two up. We can roost off any damage, and then Body Press is really free against his team. Rillaboom is not doing too much with our natural typing. The Rocky Helmet helps to chip away from there. Weavile, same. Dredagon, the same. Type Null, same. Steelix, the same. We have to be careful about Heliolisk and Salazzle, of course, but this Pokemon is our #1 answer to the majority of his physical threats. Being able to, the grassy terrain will give them a residual recovery. So being able to bring our Rocky Helmet so they lose 1/6 of their HP each time they make contact is going to be really, really nice. The next Pokemon we're bringing on the team, we're bringing more Meepo than more Pico. She's rocking her heavy duty boots with the Hunger Switch ability, of course. And I apologize, we actually do have hazard removal on this. We have Parting Shot, Aura Wheel, Protect, and Rapid Spin. 180 EVs in speed, 252 in attack, 76 in HP with a Jolly Nature. Now, what this ends up doing for us, we can actually, as I am reviewing over this, we can actually put a little bit more in HP because, again, this was built when he had access to Hitmonlee on his team. We can actually bring in 92 EVs in HP and 164 in speed, so we're outspeeding Rillaboom. With that, Parting Shot is great momentum to be able to get an attack drop on something and switch out into one of our other Pokemon. Aura Wheel is great. It's an electric move or it's a dark move. We go for Protect. That way, if we need to scout, if we need to get any grassy terrain recovery, if we need to switch forms so we can hit super effectively as well. And then Rapid Spin is nice for the hazards. Again, he only has 2 Rockers and Dredagon and Steelix. I don't want to take hazards from either one of those, so being able to switch in on those hazards freely, Rapid Spin them away because his only spin immunity does not appreciate an Aura Wheel from either one of our types. And go from there. Parting Shot will be able to switch us out into either one of our defensive mons or our offensive mons and kind of take advantage of that. Nothing too crazy to say about Morpeko. I think it's a really good bring this week. I think it provides really good pivot momentum, and it does act as some really nice hazard control. The next Pokemon we're bringing on the team, we're bringing Slugger, the Gastrodon. Gastrodon is rocking the Rindo Berry with the Storm Drain ability. Recover, Mirror Coat, Clear Smog, and Earth Power. We have 252 EVs in HP, 4 in Special Attack, 252 in Special Defense with a Calm Nature. Grass Knot from Heliolisk blows us backwards, especially under terrain. So I want to bring this thing in as safely as possible. I want to scout to see if it is Choiced or Life Orb or something, because we can take a Choice Specs Grass Knot under terrain with our Rindo Berry, and we can turn around and blow it backwards with Mirror Coat. Similarly, if it is a Keldeo set that has Sacred Sword, if it starts to set up, we can take those and Mirror Coat it back. Gardevoir, we can take hits and Mirror Coat those around. It helps out with Salazzle as well. Earth Power is really spammable against his team. Clear Smog is good for any sort of setup to be able to take care of Calm Mind Keldeo. Nasty Plot Salazzle, Calm Mind Gardevoir, things of that nature. We don't want to stay in on Rillaboom, but we do have our Skarmory available for that. Nothing too crazy to say about this thing. I'm really hoping I can bop Heliolisk with a Mirror Coat this week and kind of take it from there. The last Pokemon we are bringing on the team, we're bringing Moose the Terrakion. He's rocking his... Moose is my best, bro. He's rocking his Choice Band with the Justified ability. Close Combat, Sacred Sword, Poison Jab, and Stone Edge. 76 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 180 in speed with an Adamant Nature. With this, we are outspeeding Rillaboom. We do not outspeed Keldeo, Weavile, Heliolisk, or Salazzle, which is a little unfortunate, but we do have ways to deal with those and kind of come in and take a hit from those things if we can bluff a Scarf. The Close Combat is really free against his team. Sacred Sword is there for type Null. Since it has the Battle Armor ability, we can't crit it with Close Combat, but Sacred Sword also ignores stat changes. So if he's like a max HP Eviolite set and goes for Iron Defense, we can go for a Sacred Sword and just blow it backwards. Absolutely blow it backwards. He does have a chance to live, so pulling up the calc right here. If he is type Null, max HP with Eviolite, the Choice Band Sacred Sword actually does 87 to 103 to a max HP variant. So if we can get a layer or two of spikes up, after actually one layer of spikes, it's a 93% chance to OHKO it. If he somehow brings max attack, like max HP, max defense alongside the Battle Armor and the Eviolite, 2 Sacred Swords do knock it out, and we'll be able to go from there. If we can somehow get up all 3 layers of spikes, it still is a 2-hit KO, so we do need to kind of keep that in mind that he can go for a body press. So pre-existing damage prior to bringing in Terrakion on that will be nice if it is somehow a max HP, max defense variant. Poison Jab is nice. It does give us coverage against Gardevoir, and it does give us coverage against Rillaboom. We don't really want to stay in on Rillaboom is the thing, because if he does have the terrain up, he will be able to knock us out with the Grassy Glide. However, outside of terrain, Banded Close Combat actually knocks out your standard offensive Rillaboom set. Poison Jab does 92 to 109 if we don't want to risk the defense and special defense drop. And then similarly, if he does bring Gardevoir, if he does bring that Pokemon as well, Poison Jab is doing 148 to 174 to Gardevoir. So we'll be able to take that thing on pretty nicely, provided it's not a Scarf set. And then Stone Edge is there. Stone Edge helps out with the Drifblim, because otherwise Drifblim just comes in and sits in front of us and says hello. So that's why we've got Stone Edge this week. So hope you guys have enjoyed the team builder. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm going to cut to where we connect with Nexus, and I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with week 4 of the WBE. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelings. We're taking on Numb Nexus and the Pittsburgh Pichus. If you guys missed out on the team builder, you guys see the 6 that I'm bringing right down below. Rapidash, Skarmory, Orbeetle, Morpeko, Gastrodon, and Terrakion. You guys see the 6 that I think my opponent's going to be bringing right down there. Rillaboom, Heliolisk, Type Null, Druddigon, Gardevoir, and Keldeo. So that is the team. Feel free to pick up some merch. Check out my opponent's channel. All that fun stuff. We're going to cut to team preview, and we'll be right back. All right, so my opponent has... we only got one wrong, actually. He brought the Salazzle instead of the Druddigon. So I do like... looking at my opponent's team, he may try to lead off with something to pressure against the Skarmory. I like Rapidash as a lead right out the gate, actually. We can get some late game. The only reason I say that is because it helps out against the Heliolisk and the Salazzle if they are leads. We're just going to go on ahead and lead off with that here. We know the Rillaboom has grassy Surge. We know that. We know Heliolisk has Dry Skin more than likely. Type Null probably has Battle Armor. Salazzle has Corrosion to toss off Toxics every which way. Gardevoir probably has Trace over Synchronize, and then the Keldeo has the Justified ability. So got a pretty solid outline of my opponent's team. He's pretty, he's pretty. Nexus is pretty, but he's got a pretty offensive team here at Type Null to kind of take some hits. So let's see how he wants to lead. He leads off with Aunga, which is the Rillaboom. Okay, that is fine by me. I am a Scarf Rapidash that can click. I'm a Scarf Rapidash that can click Flare Blitz quite easily as he goes out into something like Keldeo. Now, Play Rough's a pretty neutral play. I also do just like clicking Baton Pass right here, which is what I'm going to do just to kind of get a little bit of momentum here as he decides to switch. I don't think he'd stay in any way. But he did get that grassy terrain up. We'll try to see what he wants to go out into here. If he stays in, that'd be a really interesting play if he's like Akaberry, but I don't see him wanting to stay in. This is a really good Pokemon. He withdraws. And his response to this thing is XD001, which is the Type Null. Okay, cool. We're going to Baton Pass right into Terrakion and click Close Combat. We're Baton Passing right into Terrakion and clicking Close Combat here. Banded Close Combat does 116 to 137. 92 to 107 if he's like max. I am just tossing one off right here. And we are going to blow backwards the Type Null with Close Combat. Direct. KO's Type Null with CC. Okay, cool. That's actually a really big threat out of the way, in my opinion. That is a huge threat out of the way, in my opinion. Banded Close Combat is still pretty free against his team. Gardevoir and Salazzle are the real resists here. We are -1, so we need to be careful about that. As he goes out in Aquana, which is going to be the Gardevoir here. So more than likely a Scarf set. I do have a, and we do see that he is the Trace. I do have a, Moonblast is pretty free here. I can go right out into, Rapidash if I wanted to on the Fairy type move, but I think my best play here, I want to keep Gastrodon healthy for the Heliolisk. Let's go out into Orbeetle right here to take whatever hit he wants to go for. And let's see what he's got. I'd anticipate this to be Scarf. Let's see what the damage looks like. We do see the leftovers, actually. Interesting. So he has Calm Mind. Okay. That's fine. That is fine by me. How do I want to deal with that? That's an interesting question on how I want to deal with that. I don't think he'd go for a Psychic move or a Fairy move. I think I'm going to double back out here into Terrakion. Try to get a Poison Jab off on this thing. Poison Jab doing 148 to 174 to Gardevoir. Oh, he made that prediction immaculately. All right. Guard KOs Terrak. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. What do I want to do here? I will go out into, I will go right on out into Rapidash here. That was maybe a little aggressive. I thought he might have gone for a Shadow Ball or a Mystical Fire or something like that. I'm just going to Flare Blitz this thing for damage. This thing's a huge threat. And I want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Especially since we've seen that this is a setup set. We're going to do well over half to this thing. He's got a lot of HP investment. The Psychic comes off here. And we are not going to live that. So Guard KOs Rapidash. Guard KOs Rapidash. Okay. Morpeko should be fast enough to hit this thing with a a move here. Let me just double check. 252 Aura Wheel from this thing doing 61 to 72. Yeah. Okay. Let's go out into Morpeko here. We'll just go ahead and hit this thing with an Aura Wheel. Max HP Gardevoir Aura Wheel does 61 to 72. So maybe that was the play instead, but the Moonblast would have hurt quite a bit. So let's just go on ahead. We'll hit him with that Aura Wheel. He doesn't have his ground type. He didn't bring Steelix. We'll get a speed boost here as well. And we will knock out that Gardevoir with with the Aura Wheel. So Morpeko picking up first KO of the game, or of the season here, or of its season with us. So it's 4-4 right now. Two of my heavy hitters are down. We still have the Body Press Orbeetle in the back. What would he want to go out into here is my question. We are +1 speed as he goes back out into the Rillaboom. Now, Grassy Glide from this is going to hurt quite a bit, and I kind of want to protect to see what he wants to go for here. Probably just U-turn if I'd have to imagine. He just has the U-turn. Okay. That is no big deal at all. So if he locks himself in, we're still faster, and I can Parting Shot out on this. Let's just parting shot out. I don't think he wants to take any sort of heat with the I don't think he wants to take like Rocky Helmet damage if I switch out into Skarmory. So we'll get that parting shot off. It'll be doing less to Skarm as well. And we've seen that it has U-turn. So he didn't go for a glide right there, which makes me think he might have just predicted that. But we do have our Skarmory right here. This invites in Heliolisk and Salazzle like none other, which is unfortunate. Oh, he's got the high horsepower as well. Okay. Okay, so he's got that high horsepower. What would help me out the most? I don't think he wants to stay in on me. I don't think he wants to stay in on me. I think going out into Gastrodon right here would probably be good. Let's get up a spike. This thing is here for that. We can also get some damage off. Let's just get a spike up. Let's get a spike. He withdraws. Okay, so he's not choice, which is good to know. Not choice. Because he goes out into Heliolisk, so body pressing right here would have been great. And now because I have the sturdy ability, what I do want to do here is just Roost. In case he wants to go for a Volt Switch. I think he'd probably try to go for Grass now, predicting the Gastrodon and want to come in. That might be my downplay if he's just going to attack what's in front of him. But I'm just going to go for the Roost. I've got sturdy. I'll get my recovery. I'll get all of that. He goes for the Grass Knot here, so we do see that. Good play on our part. He does get a crit on us. We see the Rocky Helmet damage, and then we go for the Roost. So I did not see any Life Orb. So what I do want to do here is just body press this thing, especially if he's locked in. Because I'm now back at full. So if he's just going to attack me, I can body press this thing to help out a little bit. He withdraws. Okay, cool. And he goes out into Girls, which is going to be the Salazzle. So Salazzle is going to take a little spikes damage. And then we are going to be able to get a body press off on this thing for some chip. Very nice. And now we still have a full health Skarmory. I imagine that the Heliolisk is choice in some way. And we did see Black Sludge on the Salazzle as well. We did see that. What I will go on ahead and do is go out into our Gastrodon here. I'm going to put choice question mark on the Heliolisk. As he goes for the Toxic. Okay, no big deal. No big deal on that end. And now what I can do is probably just Earth Power. If he's like the Protect variant, you know, so be it. But we'll just go on ahead and Earth Power right here. He did say beforehand that he was going to play. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So he is the Toxic Protect set to kind of wear down my Gastrodon. That's fine. We can kind of play around with that. He does get the Black Sludge recovery. Terrain is gone as well. So he saw me go for Earth Power. I think his play might be to go out into Rillaboom here. I don't mind going for a Clear Smog to get some damage on that thing. I think he'd want to keep this thing around. I am going to go out into my... let's go out into... let's go out into Orbeetle here. He stays in, actually. Interesting. Does he go for Sludge Wave here? Substitute? Substitute. So he's Toxic Protect Substitute Blank. Okay. So he is going to play for that. He told me he would play for that, which is fine. I'm just going to go on ahead and Psychic here. There's the Flamethrower as well. We do live a Flamethrower. This thing is calced to live a Flamethrower, and we can turn around and break that Psychic, or break the sub with a Psychic. He gets the burn on the Flamethrower as well, which is incredible. Now, would he just pick this thing? I feel like he just picked this thing off at this point because I don't have a reasonable way of breaking this thing. I'm just going to go for another Psychic here. As he goes for the Flamethrower to knock me out. Salazzle KOs Orb with Flamethrower. That's fine. We can go out into more Pico here and hit this thing with an Aura Wheel. Because we got to keep Gastrodon and Skarmory healthy. We'll just Aura Wheel this guy. Flamethrower is going to hurt, but Aura Wheel is also going to hurt. I feel like he'd probably go for a Toxic first, if anything. So let's see how he wants to do this. Let's see how he wants to do this. The Subtoxic protects Salazzle. I get it. He withdraws. Okay, so we do get a big Aura Wheel off onto something, and it's going to be the Rillaboom, which is very nice. He's going to get the Grassy Surge up as well. And like I said, we've seen that this Rillaboom is not choiced. We're going to get some big boy damage off on that thing. It was a crit. Okay, I'll take that crit for the 10% burn. It didn't matter, but we'll take it. Now, he's not Life Orb, I don't think, that we've seen. The last time he did go for the high horsepower, I'm going to go out into Skarmory here in case he goes for the Grassy Glide this time. There's the knockoff. Okay. Okay. Oh, and he is Life Orb. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. He can probably just U-turn here pretty nicely. He's faster than me as well. So I could also just roost here on the Salazzle wanting to come in. Let's roost. Let's keep this thing healthy. I see what draws. Okay, it doesn't even U-turn, even though that's interesting. Goes back out into Girls. Okay. We'll roost to keep this thing healthy. I think Gastrodon's the play here. As much as it pains me. Body press against this thing is Salazzle. Body press is breaking a sub if he decides to go for it, so I am just going to go for the body press here. As he goes for the substitute. Okay, so what I do actually, I think what I want to do here is go for the body press to break the sub. And then I think go for a taunt on the Flamethrower. Oh, I actually don't break his sub, which is unfortunate. So, he gets the Black Sludge. He gets the Grassy Terrain. I'll go out into Gastrodon here. I've still got a full health Skarmory to help take on the Rillaboom. We can still help out against the Keldeo with more Pico. He goes for the Toxic there. Okay. Now, a Protect could certainly come in here. And what I will do is just recover. We're going to get... This is going to be a long turn of events here if we want to break through this. A very long turn of events here. So the terrain's gone, so he no longer gets that recovery. I definitely think a Protect could show up here. I'll just recover. As he just goes for the Protect. Okay. So you protected this turn. We'll get that recover up. And then I think he would just Flamethrower here. So we can go for that Earth Power. This is going to be a hard turn of events. This is going to get pretty long. I'll just Earth Power right here on the Flamethrower to break the sub. I think toxic damage only racks up to 50%, so let's just keep our fingers crossed. There's a Flamethrower. Okay. So, that's not doing too much damage. Full Earth Power to break that sub. And then I will simply just recover right here on what I anticipate to be the Protect. We'll get Stolly. We'll get Stolly. That's fine. All right, so now we're in a turn of events where he needs to get like a 50-50, right? Or the 50% double Protect if he wants to catch me out of this rhythm. Because he's going to go for a sub here. And then I'm going to go for Earth Power. And I think I might just spam 2 Earth Powers in a row next. Let's see how well that treats us. There's the substitute. Okay, so Earth Power is going to break that. And then he may go for another sub on the recover. So I think what I have to do here is Earth Power twice if I want to catch him out of that rhythm. That takes us down. So he knows I have to recover here. So he may just go for another sub. I'm going to click Earth Power to knock this thing out. There's the Protect. Ah, should have recovered. Should have recovered. He was playing it safe. He was playing it safe. All right. I think I need to keep it so he's not behind a sub. And what I'm going to do here is just go for an Earth Power. And then I think more Pico has to do some stuff here. There's the substitute. I think more Pico has to not be behind a sub against this thing. The Salazzle KOs Gastro with Toxic. And then, yeah, I think we have to just... I think we just have to go out and let Morpeko kind of try its best here. Salazzle, even like a max HP variant. Oh, yeah, we're knocking this thing out with Aura Wheel from here. So let's go on ahead. Let's just go out into Morpeko. We've seen U-Turn, High Horsepower, and Knockoff. I'd be shocked if he does not have Grassy Glide to kind of help out with the Thrakion. So we will just go on ahead and Aura Wheel here. 65 to 77 to max HP. He can Toxic, which is probably the slower play. Flamethrower to 74 to 88 to us. Let's see how he wants to handle this. He withdraws, actually. Okay, so we're going to be able to get some more damage off on Rillaboom here. Rillaboom might not take this too well, actually. Rillaboom might not take this too hot. He's going to be just out of range. He does have... So we do need to play this in a way where... let's protect and see what he wants to go for. If he's got the glide... If he's got the glide, he'll go for it here. There's the Grassy Glide. Okay. Now, I can go out into Skarmory here. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he'd U-turn here. I think U-turn gets him the most out of this turn. Because Grassy Glide from this thing knocks me out. So he should know that. So it comes down to a 50-50. So if he Grassy Glides, I'm done for. If I go out into Skarmory, I can still potentially win this. Maybe, somehow. Let's switch out. If he Grassy Glides, that's fine. Here's the Grassy Glide. Okay, so we made the right play. He's going to take a little bit of Life Orb damage. And what I want to do, he may actually try to keep this thing around. I'm not sure. What I want to do right here is Roost. Let's Roost. He withdraws. Okay. As he goes back out into Girls, which is the Salazzle. Salazzle's going to take some spikes damage. Potentially going out into Morpeko was the better play. We've got enough spikes up to where the Rillaboom should not be able to come back in on full. We may be able to make something happen with Morpeko. Let's see what we can do here. So he's just going to go for sub. He's just going to go for sub. I'm going to go for a body press here. As he goes for toxic. Okay, so he puts my Skarmory on a timer. Taunting this thing would have been fantastic right here. In all honesty. Let's body press. We'll get a little bit of damage off. He's under half. He's going to get the black sludge and he's going to get the terrain. There's that. He's going to go for probably a protect or a sub right here. Grassy terrain goes away. Okay. So he knows that body press cannot break the sub. So I think I need to go for one anyways, just to go for it. If he knocks me out, like I said, I think Rillaboom's out of range. There's the substitute. So we're going to be able to get a little bit of pre-existing damage off on this thing. Maybe it's a roll to break the sub. I hope. Maybe. No, it is not. Okay. So he can flamethrower here pretty... he can flamethrower on this next turn pretty easily. And knock us out clean. Which is a little unfortunate, but... you know, we just got to kind of go for this now with more Pico. Here's the flamethrower. Yep. Lazzle KO's Skarm. All right. So now he's behind a sub. I think, like I said, I think there's enough chip damage on Rillaboom to where we should be able to knock him out. But let's just see. Let's just see what we can make happen with more Pico. I'm just going to start aura wheeling and doing what I can. Here's the flamethrower. That is going to do a little over half. Oh my god, the burn again, really? There goes our chance of winning, quite honestly. We could have maybe won this if we weren't burned, maybe, in some world. But unfortunately, because we're burned now, we cannot do much to anything. So, GG to Nexus. He played for his win. We had a call beforehand, and he told me he was going to do what he could to win. I said rest, sleep talk, Shelmet with hydration. But he had in mind Subtoxic protects Lazzle, which I brought before. I can't fault him for that. Orwheel's going to pick out the KO on the Salazzle. Not even after the burn. Oh my god. That's going to be it, dude. Salazzle KOs with Flamethrower. And that's going to be game. So he played to his win. He was 0-3, and he told me beforehand he was going to play to get the win. And that is going to be, I believe, a 3-0 or a 2-0? 4-0. He wins 4-0. So that's going to be an 0-4 loss to us to Nexus, though. GG, like I said, Subtoxic protect Salazzle. It did what it needed to do. I made some questionable plays, switching Terrakion in on a Gardevoir. I definitely thought like a Mystical Fire, a Shadow Ball would have been the play there. But he just went straight for the Moonblast. So GG, I could have played better. That's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys have, show some love on that like button down below. Of course, if you guys are new, feel free to subscribe for more so you do not miss out. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great. I'm going to let this outro bang. I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Later.